Hello everyone, thank you for joining us on this edition of The Inside. I am MABOULA Jonathan. After the appointment of a new national coordinator of the presidential plan for reconstruction and development of the crisis and economically stricken northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, we're going to take a look at the distance covered so far. The new national coordinators Mutuba Tamanjong Obase, and he takes over from Paul Tassong, Minister Delegate at the Ministry of Economic Planning and Regional Development. And before his appointment, Mutuba Tamanjong Obase was coordinator of the Bakassi Peninsula Development Program. And we're going to be taking a look at what has been done so far, what is yet to be done, the challenges, and how to fast track the execution of this plan, notably the development and of course the reconstruction and development of the two English-speaking regions of the country, still in socio-political and security tensions till now. And this has been going on for over 6 years. Meet our guests in some few seconds. Our guest today is the national president of the Republican Alliance political party, former mayor of Yabasine Kam Division, Littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon, Jacques. MABOULA, you welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Babila. I'd like to say also good evening to all our viewers in the cities and worldwide. I'm very happy to be with you tonight.
All right, we're going to be talking about the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. But before we go ahead, let me give you a quick view, a snapshot of what's been done so far. The report of activities presented during the 4th session of the steering committee of the presidential plan for reconstruction and development of the northwest and southwest regions, chaired by the director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's Office, Balungeli Confiance, a Bune chairperson of the committee. That was on July 8th, 2022, highlights a series of things that have been done so far, notably in the domain of reconstruction and development strides, and of course promotion of social cohesion. We have the reconstruction, the reconstitution of over 800 lost documents, the training of 60 insider mediators, and a network of influencers for peace, the organization of 12 socio-cultural events to foster peace and peace within communities, the reconstruction and equipment of 5 multipurpose centers for women and youths. And in terms of rehabilitation of essential infrastructures, the rehabilitation of nearly 30 schools which accommodated more than 7,000 students, the rehabilitation of 20 health centers which now attend to more than 5,000 patients monthly, the reconstruction or construction of 19 water points which have given access to potable water to over 170,000 people, and the rehabilitation of community centers. And now in terms of revitalization of the local economy, the supply of materials and equipment to more than 2,400 farmers and fishermen, the support for 47 cooperatives, the support for the rehabilitation of 5 community credit unions, the granting of starter kits and financing to 120 startups, and the rehabilitation of many businesses, providing training to entrepreneurs, and the construction of greenhouse gases. Now in terms of finance mobilization, as of June 30, 2022, the PPRD Northwest Southwest has received a total of 11.9 billion francs CFA resources, of which 75% came from the Cameroon government. That's just a snapshot of what's been done so far, according to the activity report presented last July in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. That was on July 8, 2022. Now, what's your assessment of this activity report? What's your assessment of what's been done so far within the context of the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the northwest and southwest regions of the country?
It's funny, I'm always amazed when I hear reconstruction for development. What we are doing actually is reconstruction of the conditions that led to the crisis, because we are building what has been done before. Solving the crisis is not recreating the conditions that were there at the beginning of the crisis. Solving the crisis is implementing a new solution to what led to the crisis, and we'll reconstruct, we'll recreate the same environment, and we will still go back to the same condition that led to the crisis. What I was thinking about the reconstruction was reconstruction in terms of implementing new solution, how to live together, feeding people by themselves, providing new tools to the farmers, to the breeders, and so on, implementing sustainable solution so that everyone can feel comfortable and proud of where he's living without having to move to Douala or Yaoundé. Actually, according to me, what is going on is simply recreating the conditions that were at the initial step of the crisis.
That is why it is referred to as reconstruction, and that's the first phase of the plan. The first 2 years has to do with bringing back some of the things that have been destroyed, restoring the things that have been destroyed. From what we are reading from the activity report of July 8, 2022, do you think that what's been done, it's good enough? Is it?
It's appreciable, but as I'm telling you, it's not repairing what has been destroyed for now. According to me, you want the solution to be sustainable, because you create the same environment, the people will come, they will be frustrated again, and they will be destroyed one time again. What I am thinking about reconstruction is different. Reconstruction, we should repair, it's evident, but we should think a new way of governance locally, how people can be autonomous and build their city by themselves with their resources, a true decentralization in terms of resources, and providing sufficient money and proposals so that every youth or adult can be proud of where he's living. You'll come back to the city of Bamenda or Boya, you keep staying without job. How can you be in peace when you don't have job, when you don't have revenue? What frustrated our brothers in the northwest and southwest was a situation of they were hopeless. They were feeling themselves just like there is no alternative to their existence and so on. What make many people become hungry in that area. For now, we are just repairing what has been destroyed. What will change the situation sustainably is implementing a new way of implementing all these solutions we call decentralization in terms of having a good appraisal of your daily life. Actually, I don't believe the Anglophone can live in those conditions with the Amber Boys frightening people, killing people, and so on, and with jobless youth in the city. I think what brought us to the crisis is jobless youth. If those guys have no jobs, how will you think that they will not be closer to the Amber Boys because they are looking for money?
No, the insecurity is still prevailing.
Yes.
And when this plan was brought up and the leaders appointed, there were some Cameroonians, civil society leaders, political leaders, opinion leaders who were saying that the execution of this plan, it's not going to be possible because we cannot be reconstructing and developing in the midst of a crisis, in the midst of insecurity.
Absolutely.
When you look at what's been done so far in 2 years, can we say that the execution rate is good? Can we say that it's been executed as it ought to have been executed if it was brought up after peace, after the restoration of peace in those two regions?
No, I think actually there is no sustainable solution. With insecurity, what can you do? Even when you are living in your house, even they give you a brand new house today, how will you live in security while there are people shooting guns everywhere? I think what we have to do, first of all, is talking as brother to each other so that everyone can understand that there is no way going into war, no way going into confrontation. We need to drop our guns down and give full decentralization to all this region so that every city can implement a new way of living in every region. For now, we have not discussed what will be the need of constructing a new building if tomorrow there will be some amber boys to destroy it again. We'll move to reconstruction plan number 2, reconstruction plan number 3, reconstruction plan number 4. Actually, there is no peace. The main basis of reconstruction is reconciliation of the brothers and sisters that are divided today, and then we move to the reconstruction plan when the hearts are calm, when the hearts are in peace. Without peace, we cannot build anything. Without peace, there is no security. I think our national motto said, peace,
work,
fatherland.
And the peace is first.
Peace is the first step. Without peace, you cannot provide to people work. You understand? And if people do not have work, they cannot be also in peace. Without work, you cannot be also in peace. Without those two pillars, how can you defend the fatherland? It is impossible. I will not judge why they took weapons. What I want us to be realistic is that you want those guys to come back, you create comfortable conditions so that they can't come back. You put out, according to the Republican Alliance, it was first step promoting social housing for all the residents in the northwest region and southwest region. Someone can access to property and pay in 15 years, 20 years, according to your age. Second step, promoting new cooperative in terms of mechanization of their agriculture. All the youth and adults willing to work in farming will not work just like our forefathers. They will work now with tractors and so on. You can have we will promote 15 to 20 hectares of land by individuals so that they can fulfill our raw materials needs. Third step is, after giving jobs to those guys, is giving them a sort of health insurance in terms of mutualization of their income. Because through this new cooperative program, we will put inside a health insurance and education system where every farmer or breeder on whatever you like will give 5% of his revenue to be covered in terms of health, education, and other needs, social needs. You don't have a software, the computer cannot work. What makes the computer work is the software. You cannot just change your computer and believe you have a new solution. No. The solution is the software. What our government has to do is consultancy for sustainable peace in those areas. As I told you, first step for the Republican alliances is social housing for in all those areas. Second step is modernizing the agriculture and breeding. Third step, promoting a sort of mutualization of insurance to cover their health and education and so on. The last step is simply full decentralization so that every council can become the master of the future and the destiny of all those Anglophone areas, and why not all the common other regions.
And all of what you're saying now can only be done when the guns go down. Because if the guns keep talking, definitely it's going to be difficult to do some of those things that you're saying now. You talked about consultation. Consultations have been done here and there by the former Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister, and so on and so forth. But
wrong consultation has been done before.
Why wrong consultation?
Because we have no results. Good consultations suppose that after 2 years you start seeing the result. It's just like in your farm. If you have the good seed, when you put the seed in the floor, 2-3 days you start seeing the corn going up. That is hope. If after 2 years you don't see hope, people are instead running from the region, that is the solution. It's not working.
What was wrong with the consultations done by the Prime Minister in Yaoundé, in Boya, in Bamenda, and so on?
You know, you take the same way of thinking, you will lead to the same result. What those guys are doing is just pretending they are solving the crisis. The crisis is a big business opportunity. I say that. The crisis in the Northwest and Southwest region is big business opportunity for the governance and some Amber boys. They are trying to do so that the crisis can last as long as possible to make better income and better profit on this crisis. If you are serious, after taking 2 billion, 3, 10, 4, 50 billion, you need to stand and say, where are the results? Yesterday there were 500,000 people out of in the bushes. Now we are seeing 300 are now living in the cities, and so on and so on and so on. Those who are coming out from the bushes are those who will make those remaining in the bush to come out. Without comfortable condition, you will never attract anyone. And now it's just a big business opportunity, according to me. You know how public market are realized in our country. With the same hole in your pocket, no matter how money you will put inside, it will fall down. What is going on in the Northwest is simply embezzlement, corruption, and so on. That's why I don't see all those Anglophones coming back in those areas, because they have no solution. It's simply expenditures, public expenditure for public expenditure. I think, first of all, is the software. What is the solution to bring those guys outside? Trust in the governance. Trust is the governance will bring them out. If they don't trust the governance, they will never come back to the cities. They will stay in the bushes and keep implementing disorder and so on. I think how to build trust in the governance is simply implementing new solution, new way of governing or of governing the cities, new way of building hope for the Republican Alliance. Is we start by giving to all these cities a new way of living in the city. How you access to your property, how you access to your house, how you access to your farming and to your job and so on, the financing plan behind and the social insurances behind, so that everyone knows, with my 20 hectares of farms, I will be providing my corn to, let's say, the brasseries without publicity and advertising and so on. I will be providing to the breeders and so on. In 2 years, I will be winning this type of money, and my social expenses will be covering this and that for my kids and so on. Without a serious proposal, nobody will trust you. Nobody will trust you. You can build the roads, but when I know after working on the road, I'll be jobless man. My family, I will not feed my family. I will not be able to treat my kids when they are ill. I will not be able to educate them and so on. Simply It's simply something how can I say that? It's simply cheating on people.
11.9 billion francs CFA already invested into the PPRD. Are you saying that this is wrong investment? Or
Wrong,
the
very
problem
wrong,
is
wrong,
with
wrong,
the
wrong.
timing, or what is being done? Where is the problem with this investment at this point in time in those two regions?
Look, Jonathan, you say 11, let's say 12 billion. 12 billion, that's it?
Yes.
Okay. When you are the state, the government, with 12 billion, you simply put out a financing plan for, let's say, 60 billion with bankers. And you say to those guys, you have one property that will be paid according to some installment in 15 years. First step will be the housing, second step will be the employment and production by new cooperative of farmers with new tools, new modern equipment and so on. In those equipment will be paid, let's say, for 5, 6, 7 years. After this, all your incomes will take out 5% to cover socially all the population in terms of insurance, health, and leisure and so on. If you do that, even the less intellectual man in that city will see that there is a future behind this program, and will drop down his gun, because he will see his house that he will start paying for 15 years. He'll know that I will become a big farmer in terms of 20 hectares. I will be now socially integrated. I will become now socially integrated in terms of health, education, and leisure, and living comfort, and so on. He will say, no, there's something behind this. When you will say the 2, 3 first people living in their houses, working with their tractors and so on, going to farm and producing, living to a cooperative that will provide solution to farmers and so on, you will see there is no need having gun in hands. What are we doing? You are just pouring money down.
Will that take off the problem, or would that solve the problem of discrimination?
Discrimination is something that has been developed because of individuals. You know, when there is not enough food on the table, even your brother will say you gave food to your son, not to mine. You understand? What divides us is poverty. We can share prosperity. We cannot share poverty. Even twin brothers are divided because if the bread on the table is not equal, twin brothers will start fighting for that. I think there is no problem in terms of frustration. Frustration comes from national poverty. And when there is national poverty, everyone will start asking himself, why am I uncomfortable in the same city? Then the frustration begins. And then you can see that regarding the share of our national budget, according to your proximity to the Minister of Finance of Minepat and so on, you have a big share. Go and see what is being developed in other regions. You see some regions with big size of cake, while others are with little piece of cake. Okay?
All right.
So I think we need to build trust in the governance. Without that, there will be no peace in our nation. There will be no peace in the northwest region, southwest region. And building trust is a software from experts. You cannot bring those guys outside just because you have done the road. They will run faster to destroy more.
We'll take a look at what the newspapers reported this week. Immaculate Fogwe takes us to the newsstands. This is the press review.
Newswatch reports November 6, 1982, November 6, 2022. President Paul Biya clocks 40 at the helm of the state with checkered balance sheet. The Median says, celebrating the New Deal at 40, Southwest CPDM militants defy separatist threats and storm the region. The Guardian Post exclaims, population captures enhanced separatist fighters to soldiers in Bangem Kupe-Maninguba division of the Southwest region. The Post quotes the Muslim scholar Abdul Karim. Every Anglophone is a nil if the government believes the solution is using a hammer. He made the statement while being transferred to Yaoundé. The Median, spatial status, bilingualism commission of elaborate hoaxes and empty shells. Municipal updates quotes the city mayor of Bamenda. Cooking gas plant will revive the region's economy. The Horizon says, Cameroon's debt has risen to up to 11% in 1 year. According to the Post Weekender, new banknotes to be unveiled. Panic grips embezzlers hiding stolen billions of state funds. Municipal update says, 2022 World Cup. Cameroonians take polls as Lions set to begin category.
Thank you, Immaculate Fogwe, for the press review. Earlier, Jacques MABOULA, you were talking about the software that is developed by experts, not just by anybody. And now there is a change at the helm of the PPRD coordination. We have Motuba Tamanjong Obase, who is a development expert. Before his appointment, he was coordinator of the Bakassi Peninsula Development Program. What's your opinion about this change at the helm of the PPRD coordination?
First of all, I will say to Mr. Tamanjong, welcome. You have a big task on your head. You have the destiny of 2 regions on your head. You need to be very objective and realistic to achieve your goals. If you are not serious and objective, you will be disappointed very soon, because what is going on in the Northwest and Southwest region is very serious for the survival of our nation. So you need to be serious day and day. And as I said, I started making some proposals. We cannot move back to what led to the crisis again. Building the roads is simply a step. Building the roads is simply enabling people to come back. But what will make people to drop down the gun is building trust in the governance. When you build the trust in the governance, everyone will drop down the gun. And what will make them drop down the gun is building this trust to a new living program between the governance and the governees. And that's what I'm talking about actually, is simply building a new way of living in the Northwest and Southwest region. That is very serious for the survival of our nation as a land united and indivisible. You don't need to talk just to talk, spend money to spend money, but we need to see how people drop down their guns and come back in the indivisible nation that we are.
If you were to make a suggestion to Motuba Tamanjong Obase concerning the execution of the PPRD at this stage, what will you advise him to do to hold the execution and restore trust first before continuing with the execution, so that the atmosphere can be conducive?
Yes. What I will tell Mr. Tamanjong is that, first of all, write down a saving for housing, a plan for saving housing and farming with all those people. That is, everyone that drops the gun or everyone wants to come back in the city will have to sign with the government or the council or the program a sort of contract on 10, 15, 20 years. The first step will be building houses, providing tractors so that they can pay the tractors in 10, 15 years to produce more in quantity, and a percentage according to a global agreement will be taken out of their revenue and cover them in terms of health, education, and building leisure places and so on for everyone. I think with a serious contract between all those people in the bushes and the government, with serious result on the field, I can tell you, even the Amba chiefs will be interested to come back in the city, because in the bushes they cannot have that living comfort. It's simple, but it's a problem of experience and implementing the solution. When you know, you can provide the solution. When you don't know, even with billions and billions, you will implement nothing. And that's what is going on in the Northwest and Southwest region.
Jacques MABOULA, former mayor of Yabasi in the Kam Division, Littoral region of Cameroon, national president of Republican Alliance political party. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babi.
Thank you for staying with us. NJANG Denis, Tabe, national president of the Popular Action Party, the PAP, an entrepreneur, is joining us. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Babila. Greetings to all the millions of Equinoxe viewers, and special greeting to sympathizers and militants of PAP, especially the newly installed bureau, regional bureau of Littoral, headed by Mr. Tengen Terence. I want to use this opportunity to extend my sincere greetings and encouragement to him and his team for a wonderful installation ceremony that took place. And again, greetings to all Cameroonians of good, especially those in the Northwest and the Southwest who are really undergoing the political upheavals that we are facing now presently. And greetings to you, wonderful technicians on the studio.
The Northwest and the Southwest still in socio-political and security instability, and this has been pulling on for close to 6 years now, and a presidential plan for reconstruction and development of those two regions is under execution, and the plan has been under execution for over 2 years now. What is your take on what's been done so far by the commission that was initially led by Minister Paul Tassom, and now we have Tamanjong Ubase at the head of the commission?
Well, I want to say that I am one of the few political frontline leaders who have been opportune to go right to the terrain, all the nooks and crannies into the Northwest and the Southwest, the hard hit zones, to really see into the reality of what is happening in the terrain. And I can bet you, when I say what I have to say here, it is because of my personal experience. I don't know, it has been 2 years now, and I also want to be very categorical that I have never been as part of the opinion for the creation of the Reconstruction Commission. I am not saying that the Reconstruction Commission was a wrong commission to be put in place, but I said at that moment where that commission was put in place by the President of the Republic, we were one of the few political actors and political parties that criticized that move, in that it was a good move, but at a wrong moment. Well, what we were thinking was to create an enabling environment. We gave series of conditions to be put in place, and then reconstruction now will take place. You can't reconstruct an area we call physical reconstruction or material reconstruction without psychological reconstructing the mind of the people. People were still aggrieved. The war is still ongoing, it's still ongoing. Insecurity everywhere. The refugees are still hanging somewhere in Nigeria, internally displaced in their thousands, are hovering all over, and it's still ongoing. So we told the government that I think there are some series of conditions that Cameroon is not the only country that has been a victim of such a scenario of civil war or civil uprising. We felt that at a moment like this, there would have been some sort of an appeasement by releasing everyone in connection with the Anglophone crisis, creating an enabling environment by granting amnesty to those who are in the diaspora and even in home and abroad, and then creating an atmosphere where there will be an inclusive dialogue, if not even in a transparent or in an area where the two parties will agree on where the dialogue can take place, and then with the third party who is like what's happening. I'm happy with what's happening in Ethiopia. I don't know why Cameroon cannot learn from the example of Ethiopia. The Ethiopia Prime Minister had that same notion of military option, but at the end he realized that it's no longer working. It was rather working at the detriment of the security of the country. And rather wake up, create a ceasefire, and fact put in all conditions that we have been proposing to the government of Cameroon. But I don't know why Cameroon government must be adamant to this. Now I am happy when you said 2 years ongoing. I learned, I don't even know, they said how many billion was voted or put in place by the Cameroon government. I think I followed one time the interview.
The commission has been able to raise 11.9 billion francs CFA so far. And quickly before we proceed, let's just take a look at what the commission has been able to do so far, because despite the security situation, the activity report of the commission published or presented on July 8, 2022, during the 4th session of the steering committee of the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest region, indicates that in terms of promotion of social cohesion, the reconstitution of over 800 lost documents. That's one of the things that the commission has been able to do. The training of 60 insider mediators and a network of influencers for peace, the organization of 12 sociocultural events to foster peace within communities, and the reconstitution or reconstruction and equipment of 5 multipurpose centers for women and youth. And in terms of rehabilitation of essential infrastructures, we have the rehabilitation of nearly 30 schools which accommodated more than 7,000 students, the rehabilitation of 20 health centers which now attends to more than 5,000 patients monthly, the construction of 19 water points which have given access to potable water to over 170,000 people, the rehabilitation of community centers. And in terms of revitalization of the local economy, we have the supply of material and equipment to more than 2,400 farmers and fishermen, the support to for 47 cooperatives, the support for the rehabilitation of 5 community credit unions, and the granting of starter kits and financing to 120 startups. And of course the rehabilitation of many businesses, providing training to entrepreneurs, the construction of greenhouse gases. And I said earlier that in terms of finance mobilization, as of June 30, 2022, the PPRD Northwest Southwest has received a total of 19.9 billion francs CFA resources, which of which some 5% came from the Cameroon government. Now, when you look at all this, the distance covered, is it good enough?
Well, I am not going to challenge all the statistics that has been put in place by the coordinator and his team. I think I am also an observer, like any other Cameroonian. Neither am I a member of that commission. Like any other Cameroonian who has been very, very keen and observant on the socio-political happening, especially even at the level of economy of our country, we all know how, when it comes to flamboyant figures on expenditure by the regime, they are very good at that. I think I will be happy if at all those things are really put in place, because I am still yet to see which. It is easy to come up and say we have spent rehabilitation of 50 health centers. Where are they? They should. At least our Cameroon government is very good at demonstrating when it comes to images and showing people, when it comes to images and demonstrating, even propaganda. But where are they? If you say rehabilitation of schools, I have gone to almost all the schools. I have gone to Kumbu, called Banso. I've been to Hadi zones like Kwakwa. I've been to Munyenge. I have been to Awing. I have been to Balingam. And I don't know where those schools or health centers where rehabilitation has been done, because the schools that I know that have been deserted since the onset of this Anglophone crisis are still there. almost everyone has relocated to safe zones, especially in the major towns, in the Anglophone zone and other Francophone areas where they feel safe, like Douala, Douala, Yaoundé, Bafoussam, and all the like. You talk of health centers. I don't know which health center. I am still yet to, because the Kumba Health Center that was burned down by unknown gunmen as per what the
Kumba District Hospital
is still there limping. I don't know which one has been rehabilitated. It's still there. Recently, the one in Mafe is still there. So I don't know the ones that we know, or is it that there are some other government institutions, or there are other aspects where they carry out expenditure that a common Cameroonian can't find? How many bridges have been reconstructed? I am still here. They should tell me that what I expected. We have carried out reconstruction or rehabilitation of this school in this place. Everybody will see. There's nothing that is hiding. In this town, we have done this. This health center has been rehabilitated and well equipped in this town. It's a government. It is their duty to communicate to Cameroonians. But when you come, you give a figure like this, and it just goes like that. It doesn't really give any tie with what I can say. This is what, to me, they can do better than that. They can give statistics, which if I seated here and I find out that these things have been done. I went to Moyuka. It's practically an ungoverned zone. Yes, almost all the government offices have been deserted. You go there, it's like nobody's, like a nobody zone. You are just there, people are just there, and life is just going. When I ask of the DO's office, almost all the offices belonging to the government, everything has been located to Douala. Likewise, when you go to any other hard hit zones, that in Lebialem, where we all know that those are the areas where the hard hit zones, red zones, which area has been rehabilitated. There are schools in Lebialem, no school, no government school, no school even is ongoing in Lebialem, maybe some community schools. So if the government is saying they have done this, those visible infrastructural adjustments that they can carry out for every common Cameroonian to see, that's what we expected. But when you come and give superficial figures, and I think it is not the best way. I think this is a call for concern, where if it was in a serious country, the commission needs to be questioned on, because we need to see things visibly.
The United Nations Development Program that's supporting the Cameroon government in this initiative said that this first phase, because this is the first phase of the PPRD, was going to be executed in the from the blue zones, gradually getting into the hinterlands, because most of those places that you're citing are actually areas that are referred to as red zones, away from the urban centers, and it's definitely not
Mr. Babila, this is reconstructing there with the gun still talking. This is a pure paradox. I'm happy that I am happy that then there was no need for any reconstruction. There was no need for any commission. In fact, they just created a forum where people just single billions and put in their pocket. And that is why you will come to agree with me when at times we of the opposition, when we speak, they said maybe we don't like the country, or we don't want the war to come to an end. When we emphasize that this is not the right time, you must reconstruct the people's mind. When you reconstruct the people's mind, and in a reconstruction, they must first of all be what we call a reconciliation, a reconciliatory commission that will reconcile all both parties. Everybody will be happy. And for a commission to be put in place, it will need the members from both parties to be part of that commission, not just the government alone carrying out the commission. It will enable the other members now to be able to accompany the government in the reconstruction plan. But now, when you are now coming now and giving superficial figures with no visibility on the terrain, and they are telling me that they have to start from the zone, the safe zones. The zones are already safe. Nothing took place in the safe zone. No, there were no. There are no visible major destruction in the safe zone. Limbe is a safe zone. Boya is a safe zone that many people have relocated there. We major discussion has been carried out in Boya that they are doing. And what is there? Kumba to a certain extent, not all everywhere in Kumba. There's some areas in Kumba which is a little bit safe. Bamenda upstation is a little bit safe, and maybe some areas around Bamenda Tumankon. And you are telling me that they start from, okay, I'm happy. They say they wanted to start. Okay, they have to start gradually from the safe zone. Okay, they should tell us where some of those actions that they have put in, like what you have just listed. They should tell us that when you go to Boya, this center or what has been done. We go there, we see. People of the media will tell us that this is it. The Reconstruction Commission has carried out this, and all of you are seeing the Reconstruction Commission has carried out this building, this structure, this government structure was destroyed. Has been, of course, the media, they will call people there. I don't know. I'm sorry to ask you, but I know it's not my role. But I just want to find out if also maybe you of the media, you could enlighten me. I might be ignorant that I am just speaking out of ignorance. But maybe you can enlighten me that you yourself, you took your camera and you are an example, and you can tell me that you're an eyewitness, that you saw this area that was destroyed. Thanks to the Reconstruction Commission, it has been rebuilt. This bridge that you know was destroyed. Maybe you can correct me, because I am in the terrain. I am still yet to see. And you talk about water project or whatever. Where, which area are they talking of water? Where precisely? I'm still yet to know. They should tell Cameroonians that Cameroon is not an area, is not in a space. As Cameroonians, Cameroonians have the responsibility and their right to be informed on some of this government action. At least it will go a long way to calm down maybe tension. But everything only will
go a long way to calm down
the tension. But as of now, I think I learned the report has been replaced by another.
Yes, and before he was replaced, he was saying that this PPRD project is going to calm down tensions, like you said, and help in the peace process. Is it actually? Are we seeing that?
That is what we are. I think that's what I'm saying here. If my wish was that they could do anything that would bring peace and justice to reconcile both parties, I am in support. But I'm sorry, I am still asking. That's what I'm still asking. What has calmed down the peace process? Has calmed down the tension. They should be able to come out and tell us that. Even myself, if I see a visible reconstruction adjustment or plan or on a project that I have seen, that this school that I know, this hospital, this bridge, because those are the visible ones, all those things that they have empowered women, they have done this, that is not the role of a Reconstruction Commission. That is not the role. We can work on civil societies, can do that. The Reconstruction Commission, we need them. There's more to that. When you say they have empowered women, I have not really followed what you have said there. That empower what? That empowered this, they have done this on this world office and so forth. No, that is not their role. The reconstruction should be a visible reconstruction. We need bridges that were destroyed. We want to see them, that it has been constructed. We need schools that were destroyed. We need to see them. That due of the media, they will take you there. This is a school in Lebialem. This is a school in Bafut that was burned down. This is a health center or a hospital that was destroyed. The reconstruction is ongoing. We need to see, this is a road that was practically not passable, in fact, practically inaccessible. We have rehabilitated that road because for some time now, but nothing. This is a market that was no longer functioning, but we have been able to build back the market until people are. That is what we want to hear.
So the commission should do more communication.
Reconstruction. They should communicate if at all there is any. If at all there is any visible action on the terrain, because I'm telling you that I have not yet seen. They should come and tell us. They should come and disprove me in NJANG that this is it. You were talking, making this amount. Go to Kwakwa, we are going to see what was destroyed there. We have arranged it. Go to Lebi Island, this is what we have destroyed. Go to Bafut, go to Banso, go to Munyenge, go to Muyuka, go to Etiki. All those areas that we all know that this area, these things, this particular project that was brought down by the separatists or due to the arms conflict, it has been reconstructed. Mr. Babila, we should be able to know this.
On the change of leadership at the helm of the national coordination of the PPRD, now there is a technocrat, so to speak, at the helm of the commission. He was formerly coordinator of the Bakassi project, that is coordinator of the Bakassi Peninsula Development Program, Motuba Tamanjong Obase.
So are we indirectly saying that that we are all in accordance that, because if we said they are brought in a technocrat, it means that the government is indirectly saying that Mr. Potterson was incompetent. Thank God. They say by the one mean that he was incompetent. I brought in a technocrat. Okay, good. I don't know. Mean that if he is replaced, I don't know the reason for his replacement, because first of all, the commission has never been an option for us. We have never been in accordance with it. So changing the leadership of the commission is like pouring new wine into old jugs. What will the commission don't need change of people. You can be the best technocrat, you can be the best expertise in a particular field, but when the system that has been put in place is not flexible for you to carry out your action, there's nothing you can do. So whosoever is coming also is another form of maybe compensating the person for maybe pleasing somebody somewhere. So appointments in Cameroon has nothing to do with competence, or has nothing to do with your devotion or to service the service of the people. No, it has to do with the discretion of whosoever wish or want you to do what he or she want. The Prime Minister himself, where the commission is under his authority, when you go to his village in NJANG, his area in NJANG, what is in NJANG that he can tell us that I'm the boss of this commission? This is what has been done in my own area in NJANG. Minister Paul Tassom is a man from Lebi Alem. Let us start from the charity begins at home. Let him also tell us that I'm from Lebi Alem. This is what I have been able to carry out as a project thanks to this commission from my own town, Lebi Alem. And you should stop making us noise. NJANG is there, Mundemba, Mekondo, Titana. Roads are practically inaccessible. Many structures have been abandoned. Schools are not ongoing there. That's the Prime Minister's place. And you are unable to start the reconstruction in your own carrying out project in your own area, and you come and you give superficial figures, billions of money that we don't even know, we can't see in the terrain. Please, maybe that's why I said maybe I am not really aware, but they should let us know.
The Prime Minister appointed the leaders. The chairperson of the steering committee of the PPRD is the director of cabinet at the Prime Minister's office.
They're still under the authority, yes. So you not change the fact they're not under the authority of the Prime Minister.
You said something.
He pilots the affairs of it.
Something earlier, which Senator Mbela Mokichas had talked about it some years ago when this project was brought up, and he talked about the reconstruction of mines. What will you advise Motuba Tamanjong Obase, National Coordinator of the PPRD, now at this stage to do to stop the execution and go reconstruct mines, restore peace before continuing with the execution of the PPRD?
Yes, I have a lot that I would have advised him, but unfortunately the yam and the knife is not within his power. It's not within his power. He doesn't have the yam and the knife. No matter what I say, and he can carry out consultation. He's not the first person who has headed the commission, and he has met the people, and people have made proposals, and the head of the commission tells the people openly that I will only take it to the hierarchy where they will see into it. So what is this? And once you take it there, the hierarchy decide and twist it and put in the basket. He is powerless. So there is nothing that I can't say to the president. What's the name? Mutuba Tamanjong. That's the brother Obase. Good. He's also from NJANG. I'm sure that name Obase. He's from NJANG. Yes, he's from the NJANG, the same area with the Prime Minister. Good. So there's nothing that I can say to him, because he is not necessarily. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. To the head of state. That's why I'm saying that at this juncture, the head of state, President Paul Biya, has everything it takes to resolve this crisis. There's nobody that can tell the head of state what the Anglophone crisis is all about. What we are just doing is that we are playing our role as political actors to chip in our own idea. The head of state has been into the government affairs since 1962. He has never handled any soft position. All his life, he has spent all his life at the presidency. From 1962 right today, who will tell the head of state what has to do? He is the architect of the Anglophone problem. So once somebody is the architect of the Anglophone problem, he knows where to strike the iron, and everything will be okay. So whatever he is doing.
Why are you saying he's the architect?
No, he's the architect. He's the architect of the Anglophone problem.
Why do you think that he's the architect of the?
Okay, he's the architect. I believe that the Anglophone problem, even though there was some aspect of revendication from the onset when the 1972 Constitution was put in place for the annulment of the federal constitution, but there was some level of still understanding. The thing became so well because Anglophone emanated when they unilaterally changed the name. I mean, through a decree, by changing the name of the state, the name of the country from the United Republic to the Republic. That is where I think NJANG, something like that. From Gonjintika, something like that. Yes, that is where he started. There were alarming voices alerting him that this thing that you are doing, it will. And as a result of that, many Anglophones started revendicating. Why the change of name? When you unilaterally change the name of a country and bearing the name that you had as your own name before independence, you mean you have sidelined the other person. Just that is a psychological manipulation to tell the other party that you are not part of it. So that's why I'm saying that the revendications, I am happy that even Mr. Abo Machoy, is Professor Abo Machoy, who is part of the Bilingualism Commission, if I'm not mistaken, and said that on many occasions, that even when they were under the days of Aijo, they were on the terrain, they went and carried out a resolution and presented it. And President Pobia was also part of the commission that was sent. Yes, to. So that's why I'm saying that he has all what it takes to resolve the crisis, and he keeps on turning around. And that even the so-called special statutes that he claimed to implement, which was already adopted and voted in the 1996 constitution.
It's already been implemented. So the PPRD, what should they do? Stop the implementation and go back to the drawing board?
Nobody is against reconstruction. Nobody is against the reconstruction plan. I think we are all in line with that. Of course, the Northwest and the Southwest, there have been a lot of damages. We want we want houses to be rebuilt. We want schools to take off. Everybody is happy that things should return back to normalcy and that people's lives should be all there. But there are procedures. You cannot take the fifth step before the first step. It takes time. That's where we don't agree. There are procedures that you follow before you get to the reconstruction level.
What will be the first step?
The first step is you appease the mind of the people. How do we do that? You cannot carry on the reconstruction where we said we still have that aspect where we have agony. Many people are still in agony. There are still people in prison because of this crisis. I believe that you first use the first step by liberating all those. I think don't do it before people say, okay, I've done it, and why is it that everything? You take the first step, liberate like any other. Cameroon is not the first to face an internal crisis. When you liberate everybody, the next step now is, because the officers seeing that good faith, the next stage now is you conduct an inclusive dialogue. Everything should be put on table. Don't say I don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear it. You come and empty yourself in it's not that backdoor issue that I heard there was a switch. No, don't do things like that. Everything should be visible, let everybody see. I don't want to hear that. No, on social media there was a switch talk here, there was a Canadian discussion. No, that's not how things are being done. Good. You make it and then a third party can become, it could be AU, it could be even the CEMAC, it could be even the UN, anybody. They will send a representative to come and listen to the word of two parties. It could be in the country, it could be in a neutral ground. There are many areas that you can say this area should be in neutral ground. The third party now will guarantee the mindset of the two parties to know that this person is not playing game, this one is not playing game, because whatever he said is recorded. And then at that juncture now, they should work on a general amnesty for those who are in the diaspora, because many of those who are in the diaspora, they have the notion that if we allow peace to return, we mean that we remain here, we remain, because the government is still tracking them. Some of them are of the opinion that they can never come here because of the present regime. So they should create that. Yes, they should create that cacophony, keep on talking and perpetuating in the insecurity aspect. But when they said general amnesty, you push to come. There was a guarantee with the third party who will guarantee it and send a commission there to come and tell that I guarantee you with the UN there beside. You people have no problem. Okay, let's go to a neutral ground. If you put that, that's it. We go to it. I mean, something that should be visible, not those backdoor negotiations.
Once that is done,
now they will create now, because almost all the armed groups in the various areas will send their representatives that you are discussing. So now, when that is done now, they will create now a reconciliatory commission that will guarantee now all what will be spoken now. The same people now who attended will be able now to take, if they agree on the terms of what they have to go. They are the ones to form a commission on their own. Everybody has a moral responsibility to go back to his people and tell the people that you people can leave the bushes. It's actually the arms can drop. You know, even the arms you people should leave. Yes, what we have been said, we have said like that, and so forth. A ceasefire first. The military don't shoot them for now. I mean, everything should be clean and clear. And now they're separatists themselves, because some of them, they still have access to the population. They still have a power over the to influence on the population. They can now tell the population, I know you can go about this. You can come back to your former zones, or your areas that you are. Don't be afraid, and so forth and so forth. When all those things are done and is well communicated, I bet you that at this juncture
the atmosphere will be more
calm, and then now everybody will be happy
and development.
Yes, of course.
Right.
From there,
now we're going to take some interviews, and when we come back, we'll talk about something that's making news on social media and in public discourse in Cameroon. That is ideas of a possible unconstitutional transfer of power that is said to be in gestation in the Republic of Cameroon within the power circles. We'll be back in some few minutes.
Corruption is an impediment for the economic growth of a country. It's a huge impediment because you cannot actually meet up with the forecast of your budget when people are actually siphoning the budget through corruption. If you are forecast, for instance, that you will be expecting to have this X budget, you are not having it because some agents are, through corruption, grabbing this money for their own personal account. And then at the end of the day, the government has to go and endebt the country to invest. So you don't have clear vision of your budget. The money that the government was supposed to collect and then invest, like in hospitals, in schools, and many other investments that can profit the republic, this money is either in the pockets of individuals or in the accounts of major companies abroad. Today we are having schools in Cameroon where students don't even have benches where they can sit. We are having hospitals in Cameroon, people cannot even access good care. So all this is simply because there is a lot of money that could actually enter the safe of the state, but this money is either entering the pocket of individuals or accounts of some major company abroad. People will suddenly become rich without any effort. Secondly, there are some services which should be rendered freely to people. And instead of rendering this service freely, people will be asking money. At the end of the day, those who don't have the money to pay for these services, they will be frustrated. And when people are frustrated in a country, we know where it can end up.
We have realized that the cable distributors are the main suppliers of images in homes. And so we felt that with the coming of the World Cup, we needed to talk to them about the importance of that competition to Cameroonians, given that the Indomitable Lions will be taking part and that Cameroonians love football. So we said, for the sake of social peace, that all activities around cable distribution should cease for this period of the World Cup, and then allow Cameroonians to enjoy the competition, and also encourage local distributors to try as much as possible to get formal contracts with the big boys who are in the distribution sector, and also to encourage them that we will accompany them to be able to sign contracts with the big distributors.
Denis, there's been talking around in public discussion today in Cameroon. There is something that is coming up with regards to a possible transfer of unconstitutional transfer of power from father to son. Recently, we saw the son of the head of state, Frank Biya, visiting in the northern regions of the country, in the west region, and a certain movement that's been kind of heating up the terrain and so on. What's your analysis of all this?
Well, I want to first of all say that Frank Biya is a citizen of the country. He has all his rights to stand in as a presidential candidate or any elective position that he wishes. That is his right, citizenship. But where I will not also agree, it is this aspect where you use the word unconstitutional or undemocratic. I think the terrain is free for each and everyone. If the son of the head of state feels that he wants to stand in for election. Of course, we all know conditions under which you fulfill to become any elected to stand for any elected position. Now, when you use this statement on this unconstitutional, which I also is of that opinion, because for some time now we have been seeing movements of called franchises. President Macron came here, we saw a billboard, a banner, and with people standing on the street carrying our billboard placards and singing the song of the franchise movement and all the like. And all of us already saw that, know that there is something cooking. And as a political actor like myself, whom we are victim of this same method that I usually use, this well, I can call it constitutional but undemocratic transfer of power from himself to Paul Biya. That's where these 40 years of suffering that Cameroonians are suffering today is as a result of that undemocratic process of handing on power. But now, I am for the constitutional respect, the respect of the constitution, because as of now there is a constitutional disposition that if there's any vacancy, so I'm still yet to know how the process under which they are going to maybe change the constitution. That is where there's a lot many questions, or which means does, because as of now the only title that Frank Biya bears is that it's a son of President Paul Biya. He hasn't carried out any visible action that can convince Cameroonians if he can also he can also live up to the task. He hasn't. Nobody knows how Frank Biya, how he speaks and the voice of Frank Biya. So there's a lot of cacophony. But that, like I'm saying, there's already a constitution that is put in place. We know that in the absence of parliament, if there's any vacancy, we all know that the president of the Senate is there. If the president of the Senate is also unable, incapacitated or unable, whatever, the constitution provides that the vice president of the Senate, which is the president Lamido of Rebuba, where Frank Biya visited, and he's the one to take over to organize election no less than 40 days, no more than 120. That's a transitional disposition. But now, if that aspect is okay, and that process is respected, and the CPDM feels that their candidate to stand for the election is the Frank Biya, I am not against it.
He has all the rights.
Yeah, he has all the rights. That was if it's now
any
elected position. If the CPDM mandates
your party is also working.
We are working on the terrain. We are convincing the people. We are passing out our manifesto. We are doing a lot. I can tell you that since 2019, I took over the helm of the party. We have been almost all the nooks and crannies in Cameroon. My Secretary General was in the north to galvanize. I want to thank also this opportunity to thank Mr. Abubakar Siddiqui, because we have created a strong alliance with the MPSC in the Grand North to strong that force, so that our voice, we can use them as our voice to pass on our manifesto in the Grand North. While they also use us as their own voice, because you can't do everything alone. You need that combined force. So we are working a lot, and we have gone right to Calabar. We have met the refugees there. We have talked to the people. I have gone to almost all the areas they had hit zones. We have met the population, and we are doing a lot of groundwork. I think that is what is demanded for every politician as of now, to see how we could face the major challenges. I want to say very categorical, any unconstitutional move or any undemocratic move that the regime is preparing to put in Frank Biya, I mean undemocratic, I say I'm not against, or unconstitutional, I bet you they will bear the consequences of any action that they are about to take, because we have suffered a lot with this Anglophone crisis. The crisis is still ongoing. This is to tell you that the regime, people in the regime and whosoever, beginning from the president, don't have time with the population. This is not the right time to provoke people in the name of an unconstitutional transfer of power to father to son. Cameroon is not a monarch. If Frank Biya wants to be a president, let him do the right thing like any other political leader that has been fighting, not using state institutions with all the military around him and secure and everything to intimidate people in the name of.
However, that
will not go.
The idea of unconstitutional or democratic transfer of power is still at the level of speculation.
It's still and let it remain the speculation because we are also
there
prepared.
Has been no declaration.
This generation will not accept that error that Ahijo did with this undemocratic move of power. This generation, enough is enough. We cannot keep on sacrificing our generations for some individuals. So if Frank Biya wants to stand in for an elected position, no problem. The terrain is free for everybody. We will debate. But if this move that they are playing this game, I bet you they will meet their doom.
NJANG Denis, Tabe, National President of the Popular Action Party, entrepreneur, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babila.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today's edition of The Inside. Goodbye.
Enjoy